everybody. For our show. Yes, beautiful.
Isn't that nice?
That's very nice.
Yes, it's very cool. I'm very pleased.
Oh, thank you, Joe. That was very lovely.
Thank you so much. That's Jerry.
Jerry,
Thank you, Jerry.
That was beautiful. Thank you very much. Dancers, settle. Thank you. Opening number, please. Mr. Custer's not here yet. So let's ride in a circle 3 times. Remember, it's shoot, 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 and spear. Thank you. Mr. Costner will be here later.
I called Kevin. How come not receive any points yet? Whole tribe wait by fax. I not know why. Hey, Kevin, my wife's name is Sits with a fax. How come? You not send points. I love your movie, but we talk later.
We'll be right back.
We're gone. Good night. I love you, Vegas. We've been Siegfried and Roy.
Now, Robin, you have everybody's ass in a sling, up in arms over this trailer. Now, wait, I'm going to have us take a look at this trailer, and then we'll talk about it.
Right.
Here's a look at the trailer everybody's freaking out about.
All right.
I don't know about you, but that last trailer, I've seen it, you know, fast cutting, big music. What about a different kind of trailer? I'm Robin Williams, here on the world's largest soundstage at 20th Century Fox. That's right. This entire wheat field is in one building. I'm here tonight to talk to you about an incredible movie. Toys.
Toys trailer. Toys! There'll be a big lettered thing up here above me, glowing. Obviously, some incredible special effects that'll go dun 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 dun. Toys. Toys. 아디네 허들이게 비슷네. Boom! Toys. 아디네 허들이가 다스네. 이거 그ben나 얘를 혼나세. 얼른이 선나 어르가만 있어야 되네.
Not going that way, are we, Sparky? Toys. Not the toy maneka. I'll be back. Winds me. Well, it's like Toys in the Hood. Studio executives and their great insight said, "You got a movie about toys. When's a good time to bring it out? Rosh Hashanah? No. Christmas. Wow, beats the hell out of Groundhog Day. Toys. It's a Barry Levinson movie. Man Who Made Rain Man. Yeah. Raymond, you like toys?
This is great. It's a great trailer. Why are people nervous about it?
I think because it makes fun of trailers, because that's what he wanted to do. Because normally trailers usually, and the sad thing is it's probably the best moments in a movie, and you see it and you still go, I don't want to see that. Because they pump them up, you know, they're always the best stuff. Or it's like, if it's a comedy, they hit you with about 5 of the best lines. Or if it's an action movie, they try and blow up everything and show you, this is what's happening. Watch out, hasta la vista, babe. You know, the inseminator, he's back, you know. They try and pimp it in a way that to get you in. And I guess people are it was just a reaction, just to try something different. It's a teaser.
Yeah, but it's a great tease. I could never. I'd have to go like this down near my knees, honey, to get somebody teased like that.
Please. Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Hell, wow, dancing puppet.
Now, it's wild Hollywood. I mean, it's an amazing place, and I sort of have watched you because I've followed in a lot of your footsteps. You've made an array of films, and it took a long time for them to accept that you were not going to be the Robin Williams they wanted.
Yeah, that's why I did them, to try and mess with the parameters. Because if you do, I actually started after Popeye, which was, the big shock. Because, that came out, and then it was like, okay, obviously it's not going to be an easy road. And then you run it, little kids go,
we run it backwards so it has a happy ending.
Oh, thank you. But then Dick Garp, which was a very strange piece. There's a piece that they didn't really know whether... It's weird, you go in a video store now and it's under comedies, which is like, wow.
Yeah.
It's the comedy where everyone dies. What's the fun? We'll be right back. That's why...
Part of it has, I think, to do with... Because Garp is great. My thing about Popeye is they should never have talked about it the way that they did, because kids...
Yeah, kids love it because
they love it.
It's a world. The only sad thing is they needed, if ever a film needed great special effects at the end, that's the one, and they ran out of money. Literally, the very end of the movie, you know, we're strapped, we've shot, and the weather's been bad for months. You know, Malta's an island where they speak English much louder than most people.
Right.
Because they were taught by people in the English Navy. Joey, go slishma.
And then we were there for an extra 2 months, and then got to the end, and they'd run out of money, and they're literally getting... you know, threatening calls. That's it. The budget's gone.
Yeah.
And I kidded, and I said, you know, what am I supposed to do? Walk on the water like Jesus? And Bob Evans went, yes. Oh, Lord, Mr. Wizard, I want to come home. But, you know, it was, if at that point you really had the money for the effects of when you eat the spinach, the arms, you know, kind of like altered suits, you know, like... All of that would have made it pay off.
Right.
Because it was a gentle world, and he's a great director. You know, you've worked with him.
Yeah.
He's a guy that'll let you try anything. And it was this thing of just literally going up against a wall at the very end.
Yeah. Well, I loved Garp. Lots of people did. I like to think that it's because critics don't necessarily read, that they didn't understand that was the book.
They're waiting for the pop-up book?
Yeah, you know, something to happen, and it took a long time.
It's also with books, people's impressions. It's like, you know, I guess the classic example is The Hobbit. I mean, I guess they have an image, you know.
Yeah.
He should look like Hervé Villechaize.
No, it should be a tiny Arnold. No, forget it. What is it? They have an image of what they think the character should look like, because they've imagined it.
Yeah.
And if it isn't exactly... Plus, with Garp, the middle part of the book was that, you know, that whole very powerful feminist thing that he did called The World According to Benson Shaver, which is a statement about a woman taking revenge for rape.
Right.
Like, literally, like, you know, getting back in the deepest way.
Right.
The coldest, unkindest, uncut of all.
That's right.
And that's, you know, that was part of it that wasn't in there, so people missed that. It's a strange thing, like, when critics reviewed Awakenings, it was weird. They wanted the one critic talked about the fact that in the book Awakenings, you know, when Bob's character, or one of the two characters he was based on, came out of the, you know, the state, which he'd been in for 30 years, he was all they did was masturbate.
Yeah.
And so that was, I think even Billy Connolly talked about that on stage.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, great. Bob comes out and all of a sudden starts yanking away. What a great movie that would have been. Oh, whoa, hey. hey, down in front. He's awake, he's back. Running down the hall. Hey, what are you looking at? What are you looking at?
And Rocco just fell over.
Yeah, he fell off the chair.
But it's tough, you know, and you also came from another place where people had a very specific idea of who you were.
Right.
Because there was the Richard Pryor show, there's the big show that you had on television, you were doing the stand-up, you were doing everything, and people said, this is who you're supposed to be.
Yeah, they want you to be manic and wild. I mean, and they want that, you know, you're nuts, you just be crazy, and jumping around and changing voices, which is fun. You know, but that's one side. That's why I kind of always kept comedy as this great release. It's very therapeutic.
Yeah.
You know, that we both do. That's a great thing to talk about anything that's not working in your life. You know, right? Shh, let me finish. You know, that you can really, you know, deal with stuff. But they wanted that. And the weird thing is trying to do comedies and infuse that. The most, for a film to work, people have to buy the character and the story. They have to, we're like children in that sense. You want to be drawn into a world. And the same thing happens when you read a script. The ones you love and the ones that worked are the ones you read, and you read straight through. You didn't go, yeah, this is, I'll come back to this.
Yeah, those are the ones I generally end up doing.
I'll finish that one up after I get the check. You know, but that's what it's, you get drawn into a world. And it took me a while to learn. It took Peter Weir and, you know, different directors. It took George Roy Hill, first of all. The first day I improvised on Garp, he made a face like a weasel, like, and it went, okay. And then I realized that's it. And he just said, just say it and see what happens.
Yeah.
And that's the first part.
Well, that's where we hide out, too. I mean, it's a funny thing to talk about comedy because in many respects it becomes, as things happen to us in our lives, it becomes this sort of cathartic experience. Like, you know, talking about, I used to talk about my ex-husbands. You remember when we did,
Yeah.
and I,
And the judge said, give him all the money.
yes, give them all the money. Give that boy
Kiss
a
your ass, it's
lifesaver.
goodbye.
That's right, you know. And then, you know, Richard with the drugs and you talking about drugs. It's a way of sort of us turning around and being
beating the
able to
demon.
come through. Yeah, it is beating the
Basically
demon.
peeing on the demon, you
Yeah.
know? Check this out. I mean, that's why when you talk about drugs, you realize how ludicrous it was. That here you are, kind of looking like, you know, like this. So, you know, after a couple of lines, yeah, here I am, paranoid and impotent. I'm going to be a great night, huh? Look, it's assault with a dead weapon. You know, it's that, and you can talk about it and somehow realize what a fool you were and
Yeah.
get through it. Rather than beating yourself, go, I'm awful.
Yeah.
No, you're ludicrous. Get real. You know?
We'll be right back.
Thank you. That's an old one.
What were you like as a kid, man?
Real quiet.
Really?
Yeah, real quiet. I mean, bordering on catatonic sometimes. I mean, just very, well, because you're an only child, you don't, ain't a lot of people to play with but yourself.
Right.
And it's that whole thing of your imagination and very kind of shy. At one point we lived in this big house in Michigan. There were no neighbors around. So that kind of dictates your world. It was very quiet, and I keep using the same word, but that's, I guess, what I remember of it. It was that, and eventually we moved to neighborhoods where there were kids. And there was all of a sudden this whole thing of, oh, I should go outside, right? But still, even then, not like outrageous, not, you know, people think, you were crazy then, right? No. In high school? No. I mean, in high school, I was like, I went to a private boys' school, you know, and, you know, straight A student, you know, president of the class, the whole thing, wore a little tie, the blazer with the Latin school motto, mens sana in corpore sana. And it was basically a Jewish private boys' school, so I saw more ice melt than the Titanic. You know? I went to 14 bar mitzvahs in 1 year. I thought pretty soon, well, I'll circumcise myself again. Take the chance. Temple Beth Dublin. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu. But it was and then I went to the total opposite for my senior year of high school, which was a kind of a Gestalt high school, which was, okay, the energy's right, you graduate. And it was from my last year. And it was a co-educational school in 1969 where a lot of people were on a lot of different things.
Right, right.
You know?
What did your folks do? What?
My father was he was a vice president of Lincoln Mercury, Lincoln Continental. He used to come back with a new car every month. So I kind of assumed that's the way things are, aren't they? Dad has a new car every month. That's the way it should be for everybody. And, you know, Continentals, they were great, amazing cars. These are the luxury cars, the Continental and Cadillac. And then he quit because he just got so... It was an interesting thing because he quit because he could not take how the business had become so... First of all, he thought that they weren't making great cars anymore, and also he didn't like the ethics of it, so he retired.
Were you tired?
Yeah, I mean, got tired with him. I got to know him just before he died. It's quite amazing that way, and thank God I did, or else I'd be on a couch right now going, yeah, I wasn't tired. I want to meet him again. You know? But it's like, that was a chance to really know him. When you know your father, it's almost like the Wizard of Oz, when you get to see the curtain pulled back. And it's no longer the face that used to drop the voice and your sphincter would go, but it's that man. It's the little man behind the curtain going, you know, I tried to help my father and mother out, and when I helped him, it was like he cried and said thank you, and it was like something about that was like a great equality about it. It was very powerful, and I got to know him as a man, and you accept the good and the bad. You know your father, and you go, the things that sometimes my father would get a little out there, and you go, okay. Especially you'd have a couple of cocktails and be like, can I buy you a plane? You got a car. You want to buy me? I'll buy you a plane. No, Papa, I'm okay. But then you just love him for it and know all this stuff. And my mother's really out. She's like a character from Tennessee Williams.
I met you.
Yeah, you know, mendacity. Everybody be happy. Forget about that thing. Just be happy. Dance. There are spirits in your pool. Mama, please. Oh, stop it, Mama. I can't be a football player. Like that.
So there weren't a lot of people. Did you have a lot of imaginary friends?
I had an imaginary agent, which was very... Very sad.
Still.
Yeah, someone who took 10% of my toys. Hi, we're all excited about the whole childhood thing. Yeah, listen, the Lego thing's working out well. Oh, your mom and dad are going, I gotta go. What I remember was I had this I collected all these little soldiers, I had this standing army of standing there in boxes. They weren't standing. There was about 10,000 little figures, different historical periods.
Right.
And that was probably it, yeah. But these were like pretty amazing because they were English little plastic ones. If they were like metal or lead, they'd be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars now. And when I got to be about 11, my father hit me to the fact, he kind of just sat me down and explained what war was about because he was in the Navy. And he got blown across the deck by a kamikaze in the Solomons. And they left him there. He said basically, no one could come through because what they do in those things is they start, bolting doors.
Right.
Yeah.
Help!
Flood sections B and C.
So he basically hit me to the fact that, it's ugly, brutal, and there's nothing about it that's in any way heroic.
Yeah.
That there are heroic moments, but those are done almost in like fits of madness that he said that happened. And it was amazing to talk to him. And then after that, I gave my whole army away to this little kid who lived next door, who I think burned them the next day.
Yeah, boy, they go up just like this with the glue.
He was like staging Normandy, and that was it.
How do you know that you don't have any crutches? There's nothing to run into. What's keeping you somewhat sane these days?
Oh, the easiest is is Marcia and Zelda and Cody and Zachary. That's the most sobering and wonderful thing in the world. But it's weird because it's exhilarating at the same time, Well, the things that Zelda will say or that Zachary will do. He's 9, she's 3, and Cody's 9 months going on 40. It's very interesting. You see him breastfeeding and going, and then playing with the other nipple. You're going, hey, hey, hey. Hey, come on, I'm a baby. I'm just warming it up, Dad, lighten up. They're so amazing. It is the most wonderful thing in the world, the most grounding, but the most freeing at the same time. Because you can't put it on. I can play. It's fun to play for Zelda and be different creatures for her. But it's in the end, she said, Daddy, don't. Be you. Okay. And that's what's quite wonderful. And reading to her, reading books to them at night, with them kind of nuzzled up here. Or Cody now gives hugs, because he's like, I don't know if he's just holding on. He gives hugs and then he pulls out 2 handfuls of chest hair. I love you.
Yeah, but on you it won't be missed. Come on.
Right.
Come on.
Look at these lovely Quest for Fire opera gloves. Well, just look at this. Darwin was wrong. Yeah, you're right. He could pull out all of it and be going, there's so much more.
We'll be right back.
Thanks. This is wild.
And now
Sweet Power of Love, the Reverend Al Kegman.
Really? Give that hair back.
Is that it? How? Yeah. Well, I'm really glad that you came. You'll come back, won't you?
Oh, ma'am, please. If I can have any one of these plants.
And you can have them all.
And I'll be back if the Luganus with the waiting pool is open.
This is fabulous. This is really nice. I was very comfortable.
Good.
This is not frightening. I felt very at ease. And normally these things can be
Quite unusual. Being asked questions about yourself and who you are. And why did you do those things? I never meant to hurt them.
And how do you get your hair to stay like that? This must be like hours. And then one day...
See you tomorrow.
Goodbye. Check it in. We'll be here. Not me, but the whoop.
Give it just some nice music to head out with.
Ow! Bambi's on the freeway.
Talk about it, baby.
Supper's in the woods.
Get on up.
All the people running for election. Not a lot of them looking good. The Clinton man is playing the sax.